In the battle for the box office crown, who will be the victor? Will it be Kraven the Hunter? One of Sony's finest films coming out, eh? Or will the challenger, Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim, come and snatch the trophy? Find out right now! Alright, let's start in the order in which we watched them, didn't we, buddy?
Yes, 100%. We are ultra committed to you, the viewer, and will continue to create these wonderful videos. Even if we are on the brink of death, nothing will keep us from doing our duty as a review channel.
That's right, we do it all for the fans. Let's dive into Kraven. So what were your initial thoughts about Kraven the Hunter, Sony's latest Spider-Man spin-off?
I thought it was going to be a piece of garbage.
Yeah, I did too. They don't really have the best track record, do they? When we got to the theater, there was actually a really large crowd for the time of night that we usually go to see these things, and I was shocked, blown away. I went in there was a line to even get into the theater itself, and I was like, dang, maybe I was wrong. Maybe Kraven is actually gonna be bigger this weekend than I thought. It was only we, the Alter Ego brothers, and literally like 5 other people in this gigantic theater waiting to see this movie.
Fun fact, Kraven was supposed to be released October of 2023. It was delayed a year due to the SAG-AFTRA and WGA strikes. Then, it was delayed again to release in December 2024, in order to, quote, maximize the number of moviegoers who would experience Kraven the Hunter's story on the screen more than one time, end quote.
They had an extra year to polish this turd, and they didn't even take time to do that. The CGI was horrendous.
The acting in this movie was subpar. I have seen better performances from Plank on Ed, and Eddie. All the characters took everything too seriously, all the while being put in outlandish situations that were never addressed. It was really bizarre to watch, very cringe. I'd also like to point out that the camera work was just as wooden and bland. Double cringe. Ultimately, these flaws fall on the writers and director. They're the ones who are in charge of making sure the source material is solid, and getting the best performances out of the actors as possible. The fact that the final product is so bad speaks volumes. Triple cringe.
Oh, 100%. We've seen these actors before, and we know that they can act. So it's definitely a problem with what was on the page, and a problem behind the camera not getting the performances that were needed for a movie like this. They took Kraven, a character who is very well known for being a master tactician, somebody who can scan the battlefield and know exactly what to do next to get what he wants, who is also pretty well known for trophy hunting. That's kind of the whole reason he goes after Spider-Man. And in order to make him seem more relatable, they turned him into an animal rights activist, which on its own isn't bad. It's just very out of character for somebody who's supposed to be a villain. At points, they wanted him to be Batman, or the Punisher, or even Aquaman, which are none of those things is what Kraven is supposed to be. So it was a big departure from the source material. In some cases, that works, and I was hoping that it was going to, but it really fell flat and was overall just confusing. Like I said at the top, my favorite Spider-Man villain is Rhino, who's just supposed to be this brute tank, and they try to make him this Heisenberg level villain who's really smart and really into chemicals and augmenting himself, and that's how he turns into Rhino. I feel like it was totally unnecessary and they could have gone a different direction. But there was a point where Rhino didn't get what he wanted, and he was sitting at a table and he slams his fists down. I hope that this is a forgotten sound effect. It looked like he was supposed to like have a little bit of Rhino come out and maybe roar, but we end up seeing is him slammed his fist down and go, That's not a joke. The problem with these Sonyverse movies has all been quality. They refuse to stick to the source material, which people love. They're trying to make their own villain team with the Sinister Six, all without Spider-Man, which makes no sense. All the while trying to portray these classic villains as heroes or anti-heroes, that it's clear that all that they wanted was your money.
Well then I have good news for you.
What's that, buddy?
Sony has announced that they are no longer interested in making these Spider-Man spin-off movies. Turns out, making movies purely for profit with characters that a majority of people have not heard of and that also piss off your fan base is not a sustainable business model.
I'm pretty sure anybody could have told them that. All right, recommendation time. What do you give it?
I can't seem to wrap my oddly thin paper-like head around ever recommending this blatant cash grab of a movie. Trust me, I know trash when I see it, and this is on par with replacing your best friend / co-host of a review channel with a stick and some blown-up glove hands and thinking nobody will notice or care level of bullshit. Do not go see it.
I feel the same way. I personally do not recommend anybody go see this movie. Sony does not need the money from it. Give Disney the characters, let them use them how they want, and you just sit back and you take that money, okay? Just sit back, take the money from licensing those characters to Disney. That's all you have to do from now on. Don't make anything else yourself. Please, for the love of God, don't do it. Now time for a score out of 10. Don't be shy. Give us your score. Okay, while he's thinking about that, I'm going to go ahead and give you my score. And legitimately, with our scoring system, this movie gets a 0. There was nothing redeemable about this movie. It was all just bad and not worth our time.
My score is, well, I think.
Alright, then my 0 stands. That is it. That is our Alter Ego Bros rating for Kraven the Hunter. Next up, we have Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim. Oh yeah. So perfect. I'll take a sip because Andy wants me to, don't you, Andy? Ah, thanks. Thanks, buddy. You always have my back, don't you? Always have my back. Wouldn't leave me stranded for the world, would you? No. He's always here. Always got my back. He's one of the best friends I could actually have. Thanks, buddy.